Merelias was smoking in front of the house when Azazel joined him. "You admire the night as I do, don't you, Lightbringer?" The devil noticed that the Watcher hadn't put a taunting emphasis on the title he'd carried in heaven upon speaking it. "It doesn't judge nor shed light on anything," Merelias replied, looking at the other angel. Azazel was staring towards the firmament where the stars and the moon showed a silver glow. "It's going to be your son, eh?" He tried to sound casual, but the Watcher was at once speaking in a fiercely protective manner. "If you touch him, I will fight you until one of us perishes." I wasn't trying to threaten him. Perhaps I was wrong about you not being able to feel love. I won't drag him into this conflict. He hates me enough already, and rightly so. A hint of shame swung in the low voice. "Did you know what would happen if you gave in?" Azazel hesitated for a moment before answering. "I knew it was wrong. We had been forbidden from interacting with the children of man, but not once would I have thought to be the cause of such suffering." Silence followed until Azazel returned the sentiment by asking an equally heavy question. "Samyasa adored you for your deeds against God's creations. He was following your example when he planned to taint humanity. Did you ever think about freeing us? Back then, when you still raged against your father?" Merelias knew it took great courage of the Watcher to ask such a thing, especially when the devil had mocked and rejected him whenever he tried to be open. "Not even once." Merelias' golden eyes locked with Azazel's blue ones. There was relief and awe in the Watcher's expression. "I was waging that personal war against Father, and Father alone. I wanted no competition from you. I couldn't know if you were truly loyal to me or if you would, sooner or later, rebel." Ardor escaped the devil when he thought back to when Cain had betrayed him. It seemed to him that it had been the day justice had been served. The futility of him not seeing that still made him grin from time to time. He had been so young and foolish. He probably still was. "And when I decided to change my ways, I honestly forgot about you lot. You were none of my business. It had been God who had imprisoned you after all." "No wonder he called you the Lightbringer," Azazel remarked in the calm, respectful manner that was characteristic for him. Merelias started to see it as a sincere politeness instead of faked indifference to taunt him. "I always wondered what kind of being you were back in heaven. There were so many stories of war and triumph, and the deep regret about your betrayal." "They speak about that in heaven?" The fallen angel was surprised to be such a preferred subject amongst his angelic brothers and sisters. "Some do." The Watcher stared back at the sky. Michael was too grim and cold after the loss of his brother. He rarely raised the skies when I was created. But Raphael was open enough. The calm voice suddenly died down and turned into a hoarse whisper. "We were close back then. I think it broke his heart to see me being part of the crime." "Would you want to go back?" Azazel shot him a puzzled glance. "Would you go back to heaven if you had the chance?" The Watcher laughed with a scoff and slightly shook his head. "I'm a fallen Lucifer. I barely convinced you, the rebel himself. No, I think souls like us should stick to places we are wanted." "Is there a place you are wanted?" "Apart from my cell, you mean?" Azazel remarked cynically, scarcely preventing bitterness from tainting his calm tone. "There's nowhere for me to belong, Lucifer. Adina, the one showing me my humanity, died. I wasn't there when she passed, and even if I'd die for my son, he couldn't care less about me existing." "We will see about your son, mate." Merelias stretched his stiff body and turned into a raven. "I could use a flight through the clear night air. You care to accompany me?" Azazel only looked at him. longing and uneasiness wrestling behind his eyes. I know you keep your word. Besides, the raven spread his wings. We will find you with that seal. With the smile of a defeated man, Azazel changed into a strange blue creature, with horns, spikes, fur, and wings all colored like the night sky, and even to Merlias he was almost invisible. With sharp talons he crouched like a gargoyle on Notre Dame, waiting for the devil to take off. Although Azazel's discipline didn't let it shine through, Merlias knew the Watcher was forcing himself to remain relaxed. They were walking through the sleepy Japanese town in the early dawn, and the mist was still hanging deep in the land. Dean had taken the watch and the vial for the Nephilim's blood. "Easy, mate," Merlias murmured to the tense Watcher, whose eyes betrayed no emotion. Despite the early hours, the smithy was already running. The sound of a blade being sharpened on a whetstone echoed through the cool, moist air. "Should we leave you alone with him?" Dean suggested when they were close enough to see the man concentrated on his work. No. I think I could use your support." The smithy consisted of an oven and several instruments used to form and sharpen the steel, surrounded by a wooden back wall and thick wooden pillars to support the structure. Another entrance to the right was concealed by a curtain and probably led to the smith's private quarters. The smithy was a slight distance away from the rest of the town and closer to forest and river. A cicada chirped somewhere in the high grass, and the birds announced the yielding of dawn to morning. The young-looking man wasn't noticing them, or rather not showing them, he noticed. The deep blue eyes he'd inherited from his father were fixed on the magnificently crafted blade. The face was red, and the forehead showed pearls of sweat from the fiery oven behind the man. Merlias concluded that the nut-brown hair was probably short to prevent it from hindering the smith when forming the hot steel. Azazel respectfully knocked against one of the supporting beams. "Mochizuki." The Nephilim looked up at his father with an emotionless expression, then examined the other two companions. The glitter of cautious suspicion crept into the smith's gaze. "What can I do for you?" he asked no one in particular. "We need your help, son. I need your help." "For what?" "To try to correct some of my mistakes." Mochizuki interrupted his task and got up, stepping closer to his father. "There is no correcting your mistakes, father." A shadow of fury let the blue eyes blaze up. "You lost your honor when you fell, when you created me. If you want to wash your name clean, then perhaps you should follow the example of a swordsman's code." "You've grown quite fond of those people you live among," Azazel remarked with her father's warmth. "I have been living among them for over 2,000 years. I didn't know where my mother was from after all. I never knew, thanks to you. If you are that deeply rooted in this culture, then you should have heard about the famous Musashi." Mochizuki turned around upon Merlias' interruption, still wearing the look of suppressed angry grief. "Of course I do. I was one of his disciples. He taught me many great things, even though I had lived so long already." Pride marked the Nephilim's voice, revealing that he must have seen his master as some kind of father figure. Merlias could see how it drove a dagger into Azazel's heart, who started to wear that hollow look once again. "Then you also know that he said to hold no grudge against yourself or others." "He did indeed," Mochizuki agreed, with a defeated gesture. "Alas, I'm still far from finding my true path. Your father might have made some big mistakes, but the things he did to protect you. It is not easy to resist your own irrationality, my boy." Mochizuki needed a moment to let Merlias' statement sink in. With cleared eyes, he turned back to the Watcher, who still waited patiently. "I don't seek to clean my name, nor your forgiveness. I know I don't deserve either, but your help will prevent others from losing what we lost. I won't bother you again if that's what you want." The Nephilim nodded upon understanding what his father implied. Mochizuki was making an attempt to look into the Watcher's eyes, but Azazel averted his gaze. Merelias knew he was losing his ground again to shame and guilt and the hollow pain. "I will help them," the smith agreed. "What do you need?" It was Dean who answered, producing the vial from one of his pockets. "We need the blood of a Nephilim in order to work a spell." At once Mochizuki displayed the suspicious glint again, urging Dean to explain. "Angels are being killed. We think it's a group of Nephilim. I don't intend to use it for anything else." The smith fixed Dean with the penetrating stare of a warrior, but the occultist held it, confirming his words as being sincere. Baring his forearm, Mochizuki held it out for them to take what they needed. Merelias took once again the knife forged in hell. Like a true swordsman, the Nephilim didn't even flinch when the cut was made. The devil made it deep enough to fill half the vial. When they were done, he moved his hand over the wound to heal it. A scar remained, confirming the angelic part in Mochizuki's being, for even if angels could heal humans, they could not heal each other in the same fashion. Dean put a cork on the vial and stowed it away again. "Thank you." Azazel indicated a bow and turned to go. Dean cast Merelias a look that showed his compassion for the rejected Watcher. "Father!" Mochizuki called out, making the angel falter amidst movement. Azazel didn't turn around, but Merelias knew he was listening for the slightest reason to hope again. "Perhaps, someday, we might share a table. I'm not good with cooking, but I know many nice places which offer that skill." "It would be my greatest pleasure." The voice was still controlled, yet Merelias sensed the angel beam with happiness. He gave Dean a meaningful smile, who returned the gesture before following the Watcher.